Mrs. West Class. How you guys doing? Had a great time with you guys. You guys were fantastic, extremely well behaved. Loved it. It's a testament to what Mrs. West has been doing with you. Really had a great time. After the exit tickets came out, I saw 3 questions on there, and I just want to get the opportunity to actually answer them if you were interested in finishing up the project. All right, it's not something you have to do, but if you wanted to do it, if you were interested in it, hopefully these questions that you asked and answers I could give you will help you out. All right, the first question was, how did the Japanese come up with these symbols? That's a great question. So I started looking it up, found out some interesting things. Now, when it comes to history, and you're going back thousands of years, you really need firsthand accounts. You really need something like on paper or on stone to make sure that that's actually historical fact. What we have here is more like myth, legend sort of a thing. And the word on the street is in China, thousands of years ago, let's say somebody wanted to know if there was going to be a drought, or maybe if there is a drought, when the drought was going to be over, or if your wife was pregnant, are you going to have a boy or a girl? Are the crops going to grow this year? Is there going to be a hurricane? What's going to happen? In order to figure out those things, what they would do is they would take turtle shells and animal bones. They put them in a fire under extreme heat, and the bones and the shells would crack. And then they would study the cracks in the bones, and they would look at them and somehow get knowledge through those cracks about what's going to happen. After a while, they started writing those cracks down, and those cracks started to become the foundation of a pictorial written language. But that's China. When it comes to Japan, now, and this right here is kind of like your tortoiseshell writing on this side, and this is kind of like the evolution of the symbol until it comes to here. I like looking at the legs of this figure here and seeing how just the legs alone started to change over time like that. I think that's really awesome. Even the gait, how the gait starts to evolve into this cursive style symbol. It's really cool. But with Japan, how it came to Japan was the Chinese would trade with Japan. They come down off the Korean peninsula into Japan, and they would trade with them. And when they traded with them, maybe they traded coins, fabric, goods. On the coins, there might be inscriptions where their written language symbols were on those coins. If they sent them fabrics, maybe they actually wrote down what the type of fabric it was and how many pounds of fabric there was. And the Japanese started to notice these things. They started to understand, because the Japanese at the time did not have a written language, only an oral language. They only spoke Japanese. They didn't write it down. And that started the ball rolling for the Japanese. And I think it was about 500 AD, a group of Japanese got together and started to take the Chinese symbols, combine it with the spoken language of Japan, and created their own pictorial language symbols, where that's how you start to get the kanji symbols. So that is your origin of the kanji symbol. It's actually a really interesting question. I learned a lot. The second question, I'm a little confused on how to do the 3D part. It's understandable. It might be kind of new for some of you. So there's your kanji symbol for lion. I want to start with the letter J. Nice and simple. You don't have all these lines all over the place. Let's just keep it simple for a minute. And how you would make the lines on the J is that you would find any corner that you can create a line going in the same general direction. So I'm going to pick this corner right here. And every line I'm going to make is going to be that length going in that direction. All right? So right over here on this corner, I could do it here. Over on this corner, I could do it here. I could do this corner right here. So there's my corners. Curves are interesting. If I started down here and I tried to make that same line, I'd run right through the letter. Can't put it there. So I have to find the spot around the curve where I can actually make that line. Oh, I'm getting close now. Booyah. There it is right there. Now all you have to do is you have to close the lines. You want to look at the line where you started here. This J goes across that way. So you want to do the same thing. This line goes in that direction, straight across, horizontal. You want to do the same thing there. On this side, it goes straight down, maybe a little bit of a hook going in on the J. So I'm going to bring that down, maybe give it a little bit of a hook on the end. And then finally over here, This line right here is going to be part of this. Okay, this line was a part of the top of the J here. Then it goes down. So it goes to the right and down. You're going to do the same thing to the right and down. But it's also a hook. So after a certain point in time, I got to start hooking it in just like the other one. And there's your 3D effect on the J. It's a little crude. I am using only a mouse. So the lines aren't going to be super perfect. It's bothering me a little bit just looking at it. But that's generally how you would do that with the J. Same lines. Look at where they came from. Start making those lines again. That one goes across, that one goes across, that goes down, that goes down. So when you go to do the kanji symbol, it's the same thing. All right, just because it looks like more doesn't mean any of the rules change. So right here, I'm going to start right here on this, make it go up that way. Any corner or any edge that I could see, I'm going to make that line go out. Now this is an interesting one right here. I can make a line. I could start one, but I can't make it as long. So what I'm going to do is start it and go as far as I can go and stop on the letter, just like that. This corner I can do. Here's an edge. Here's an edge. All these are edges that I can do. Even in the middle of this. See, I can't do any other corner. It would run into the letter. The only one I could do is this one. So that's the one I'm going to pick. And they all have to go, and I keep saying this, in the same direction. So like when you come over here, if you did this, that line is not moving in the same direction as that line. You have to watch out for that because some of these angles might trick your eye a little bit. You really got to be consistent with the direction that it's going. And I think that finishes up that one there. So I'm going to start to close all these lines now. So if this line went that way, this line's going to go that way. I'm going to try to keep things as parallel as possible. Here's a hook. I'm going to make that hook. This one's going up and down, so that one's going up and down. Then it goes across. And I'm just going to keep looking at that letter just to make sure I'm doing it right. That one goes down, so this one goes down. So the only thing you got to watch out for is making sure that those lines, that one was a little bit long right there, but try to make the lines the same length, right, when you're starting it out, and then you just close them. Now this one right here that I just did, this line that goes out, it started here in this corner. The line goes up from the corner and to the right. I have to do the same thing, up from the corner and to the right. And then I could just do all the rest of them right there, and I think we're about, yep, we're done with that one. So then you have this one here, and you just do the same exact thing. And I'm going to quickly do this because I want to keep the video to about 15 minutes. Time is of the essence. All the corners, and you see how that changed right there? It's like a little hill, so I put a line on that too. This one right here. I could do that one. I'm going to leave it alone though. This one here, and then I got the middle part over here just like before. Now this here's another one just like that. It's kind of special. You can make the line, but only for just a little bit, and it stops. Here's a corner here, but you can't make it because it's going to run through. Here's the last part of the symbol here. We're going to hit all the corners that we can. I'm being a little sloppy there. That one's not that great right there. It's actually bothering me on the inside. That one is terrible too. That's really rubbing me the wrong way. A little better. Okay, it's the mouse. I'm going to blame the mouse. Blame the mouse. All right, almost done there. Now this one, can't really do it. It's right in the letter. This one, it's in the letter. Can't do those. We have to stop right where we're at, right there. So I'm just going to start combining them all. And you know, if you have your letter there with you and you're looking at the video and you don't know which lines to do, stop this video, take a look what I did, and there's nothing wrong with copying it off. You're learning it. It's something that's brand new. And that is about it for that symbol. There you go. And the last one, if this goes down that way, we go down that way. Skip ahead to here, there's that corner, goes like that, so we got to go like that. See how it skips that area right there, it's empty. So for this one right here, if you're starting here and you got a long line going up, you got to do the same thing. Long line going all the way up like that. There you go. And then finally, we have no corners here that we can do. We have this one, and it just goes in and up. So we're going to go in and we had no chance to go up because, you know, it was longer than this line. So there you go. There's your 3D effect right there. It looks like I forgot one right here. I just spotted it. Go right up. So there you go. That's how you do a 3D effect. Now, I made them red. You shouldn't do it red on yours because the sphere is red. So you can make it like dark blue on the front, light blue on the sides, maybe like yellow on the front, green on the sides. Try to stay away from the red and the orange because it might interfere with the red of the sphere and look confusing. All right. So I'm going to go to the next question, which is, how do you add light to the circle, which is actually the sphere? True, it is a circle because it's two-dimensional. A sphere is something that's 3D, something that you hold in your hand, but we're trying to make the illusion of shape, and that's why we call it 3D. All right, so we're trying to make a 3D illusion of a sphere. And basically all it is for this is sections of tone that get lighter and lighter or darker and darker. And they start to make these crescent shapes like a moon. Try to do the best I can here with this mouse. Let's give him a grief. And then we'll do this one here like that. So you can kind of see these like crescent shapes going across till you get to the circle. This circular area in the middle should be kind of like white like the paper. So if you're using your colored pencil, you're talking about pressure. So right here in the darkest edge, you want to push down really hard with the colored pencil as hard as you can go, as much color as you can put on. This section here is pretty dark, but not as dark as that one, so you want to take the pressure off. And as you go up towards the lighter area, right in here is like super light, really super light. And in between these areas of like super light and light, you could take your finger or something, or even your pencil, and kind of like blend it together a little bit. Right? If you wanted to, you can make these like kind of helper lines in your sphere. So you can take like the red pencil that you have very lightly, make each section on here, and then you can just fill in each section from dark to light. So I'm going to show you that on this circle right here. And I'm going to do the best I can with the circle using the active board and the mouse because I can't really do pressure and shading. So what I did was I pre-selected some colors here. Got like a really light color just to show you where everything is. I'm going to start from the light, go down to the dark. So to show you where my light area is, I'm just going to make like a circle, make this a little thicker. A circle around my light spot. That'll be my white area right there. And this light pink area is me, gotta suspend disbelief here, is me being really light with the red pencil. Very, very lightly making this section that light. And then what you do is you go to your next shade. So you're gonna push down a little harder with the pencil. You're gonna push down harder and make it like that. And you can see now that I cannot make another circle going all the way around. I'd go outside my sphere. So it's gonna start that crescent shape, that moon shape that's there. And then you're going to push down a little bit harder with the pencil and you get the darker shade right here. And that's pretty much all you're doing, is every time you go farther and farther away from this point and you're going in this direction like that, you're going to go darker and push down harder to make it darker and darker with your colored pencil. And that's how you make it look like there's light on it. So that one section is just the color of the paper. It's just white. Everything else is just different shades of the color or values. Get a darker one. Okay, right here. And then as I'm going, I'm purposely trying to cover up that black line too because it's a little distracting to me. There's that nice crescent shape right there. There's that moon shape that's happening. When you do it on your paper, you'll see that moon shape a lot better because this is a pretty thick line that I'm using right there. And we're almost done. 2 more to go. Cheat that last one in there. There's your darker color. Now, with your colored pencil, you're starting to really, really push down now. You're really hammering away there. You're going to be sharpening your pencil a lot if you're doing this. And then finally, the last one is right there. And then you have your different values going back like that. All right, so with the colored pencil, it's going to look a lot better than this. Again, you can use your finger to try to like blend in between. And when you do this project, you want to start with the kanji symbol. You want to draw it, make it 3D, color the front, color the sides, and then leave the sphere for last because it's going on top of it. Okay, so when you're shading your sphere in, you're shading around the kanji symbol. And that's pretty much it. 8 seconds, and we got to 15 minutes. Not bad.